So good evening, everybody. This is the New Human Experience podcast, and tonight is January the 17th, 2019, and the topic tonight is thrive. So just kind of a big overview is thrive. There are really three mental models that I'm aware of. So the first one is the victim mentality. The second one is the survivor mentality. And the third one is thrive mentality. So a little bit about each of them. So the victim mentality is the mentality where everything seems to be it's kind of when you think of it, is the person is maybe consciously saying to themselves or unconsciously, very unconsciously saying to themselves, is that the world is a scary place and they feel helpless. They can't seem to be able to change. So that is really the undertone of what the victim mentality is. And if you're in the victim mentality, then you are still trying to stay alive. So your options are rather limited. You can either make sure that you don't do anything that rocks the boat. You will always want to be one of the crowds so you won't stand out. And you always want to make sure that you don't upset anyone, because that will really attract more attention and get other people maybe mad at you. And the last thing is you just play dead, because if you look at the animal kingdom, a lot of times animals, when they have danger coming, one of the ways that they would do is they just pretend that they're dead, and hopefully the hunter would just pass them by and go for another prey that is still running or doing that. So that really makes life very limited, because there's not a lot of options to choose from the victim mentality. And then the next kind of mental model is the survivor. So the survivor is really, I think the motto of the survivor is survival of the fittest. So it's also the worldview is also that the world is a scary place and there are dangers everywhere. So in order to survive, they have to do whatever it takes to survive. And they have made the choice internally that they are going to survive. Whatever it takes, they may need to, kick somebody down or step on another person, but whatever it takes, they are going to survive. So that is the survivor mentality. And the survivor mentality is kind of one step up. And by one step up, I'm just, it's really, in quotation, is that, yes, it feels like it's better than being the victim to be the survivor, so that you get more material things. You may be able to accumulate more material things because of you're going to elbow everybody and you're going to be the top dog. So yes, you may be able to accumulate more material things. However, the fear is still there. So even if they manage to have a big house, have the right kind of car, the right kind of spouse or family, even though from the outside it may looks like it's pretty good, they're doing well, but from the inside, everything is still empty. There's really still a hole in their life, because everything is based on fear. And when you go from fear to run your life, then no matter what you have, no matter how perfect it may seem, the fear mentality is that can change in a split second. the next better survivor that comes can take all of that away from you, okay, in a very short period of time. So they never really have a chance to slow down and enjoy their fruits, the fruits of their labor, because they're always in fear mode. And when you are in survival mode, then there really is no rest. You're always fighting an uphill battle. And really, both the victim and the survivor mentality, they are both on the same spectrum. It's just opposite end of the fear-based mentality. And when you live like that, life really is not a lot of fun. And even if you manage to have some fun, it's not long lasting. It's you may be able to have a little bit of fun, but then the next moment when you sober up, when you actually open your eyes, you have to go and start to defend all that you have or to get more. So there's never enough. So there's this hole in your life. And I'm kind of describing the victim mentality and the survivor mentality in very extreme case. But in reality, most of us have a mix. We may be a victim to in certain environment. For example, some people may be a victim in their work environment, but at home they are like the king of the castle. They are the survivor. They would try to manipulate everyone in their home in order to feel like they are the survivor. And or it may be completely the opposite, is that they're really the like, survivor. They really go out and do really well in the workplace, but at home they may get beaten up by their spouse. Who knows? The point I want to get across is that there really is no, I would say that rarely is there a pure type of whether you are only operating from victim mentality or only operating from the survivor mentality. It's a spectrum. You may be anywhere in between, and that may shift depending on the circumstances and the relationship. So how do we get from this fear-based mode to actually being able to thrive, not just to survive, but to actually thrive and be able to feel comfortable in your own skin, in your own life, so that you know that you really are the driver of your own experience, and you know that you can create everything. It's really a switch to from the survivor and the victim mentality. Both has it that circumstances is what shapes you. So it means that the environment is the way it is. So there's nothing you can do. You can either play the victim or you play the survivor, and you go and get to where it is that you want. But there's always another option. The other option is to not play this game of victim nor the survivor, is to know that you really are not at the mercy of your circumstances. You actually have the ability to create circumstances. You don't just be shaped by your environment. You have the capability to shape your environment. So it's not about you versus whatever everybody that's outside, because that's really a disconnection model. The victim and the survivor mode is about being disconnected from your environment. When you're disconnected from your environment, then you're always at the mercy of your environment. However, when you start to recognize that you and your environment are actually all one, and that you have a say in how to shape your environment, when you get back to being completely connected and realize that you and your environment are one, and your environment is actually a reflection of what's inside yourself, and you really recognize that you can make a big change to your environment. When you start to understand that, when you start to really walk that belief, walk that talk, then you start to flip from being survivor or victim mode into thrive. Because when you're one with the environment, you have control. You don't need control. Whereas victim and survivor, they are trying to get control because they have no control. But being in thrive, meaning that you recognize that you have all the control. And what you need to do is actually unlearn all the behavior that you have been brought up in. Because when we were young, we inherited all the, well, not all the beliefs, but a lot of the beliefs from our parents. And unfortunately, not everyone has mindful parents. Some parents, they are either in survivor mode or in victim mode. So they, because you're born into that environment, so you're swimming in that environment, and you don't even know that that's there. It's for you, it's like that's reality, that's what it is, and you never even question it. Whereas when you get to the point that you know that, oh, that's just because I was brought up in this mentality, that doesn't mean that that is the only way to look at reality, and that there are other ways to look at reality. When you start to turn that around, then you, I'm not saying that it's easy. You have to start to question every belief that you have. Even something as simple as, I remember there's a phrase that's a Chinese phrase that's saying that, or even English phrase has that, something very similar as well. It's something to the extent that character is fate. That, I've heard a lot about that. And at some point in my life, I actually believe that that is the truth. That is truth. And that, yeah, it's not changeable. But actually, now I understand that that is not true. That is not the truth. That is just a belief that character is fate. Because character, what is character? It's really emotions. It's really, we are wired with these emotions. And when you start to do the work of letting go of trauma and reprocessing and releasing all the emotions that no longer support you, then your emotions change, your mood change, and you start to really understand that character is not fate. You can change your character. I remember I was like really a much more pessimistic person. And I always, like, for me, my go-to emotion is sadness. However, now, if you ask me, that is not my go-to emotion anymore, because I've done a lot of work in releasing that, in releasing those traumas. Like, I've done, I don't even remember how many years of work on that. I'm at the point where, for me, it's like peace and tranquility and excitement is more of my go-to emotions rather than sadness. And I'm not saying that, yeah, pat on my back, yes, I did well and all that, but I'm just saying that I proved that belief or that truth wrong already. So for me, that is no longer a truth. The saying that character is fate is no longer the truth. is just a belief, and beliefs can be changed. And the reason why we want to do these self-help and work on ourselves is to get to the point where we can pick and choose who we are, who we be, and what our personality actually is. Because we are infinite beings, we can actually change our personality by dropping the beliefs and the emotions that no longer support us. We can actually adopt and emphasize and focus on the other parts that we want to include in our toolbox of personality. Being creative and being full of excitement and full of joy and being curious are really all those things that you can recuperate. And if that's what you like, if that's how we instead of our personality being something that is born, we can pick and choose whatever it is, who we be. We can pick and choose just by doing the work. So some of the work I already mentioned is you really need to let go of traumas and reprocess how your relationship to your past, and also at some point to just drop the past and just focus on being in the moment, so that you can choose how you actually want to feel, not how your emotions make you feel, but you can actually choose how you feel moment by moment. And the other things you can do, I would suggest, after you've done enough of the reprocessing of your past and letting go of emotions that does not support how you want to feel and be anymore, is to actually have a plan of what it is that you want to experience. Because if you don't have a plan, then just whatever comes up. So when you have a plan of what it is that you want to experience, you choose your own experience, something that is meaningful to you, something that kind of challenge you and stretch you in ways that make sense and meaningful to you. And when you have that plan, then you actually can do more on looking at any beliefs whether the beliefs support your plan or not. If they don't support your plan, then what you can do is actually start to pull apart those beliefs so that they no longer define your reality, because we can only create from our beliefs, and we are creators. We create every moment of our lives. We create, for example, like all 8 of us co-created this event this Thursday night. So, and we all co-created this from what we believe. And if we want to, let's say, experience something completely different, then maybe the same beliefs that you have in order for you to be here may not be the right beliefs to support you to have that plan. So when you actually have a plan and know what it is that you want to experience, it helps you fine-tune the beliefs that you need to let go of, or the emotions that you need to let go of, in order for you to support you to have that, to create that plan. Let me see what else. Oh, okay. And when you've done enough of that, then you get to a point where you start to really enjoy life and really appreciate that life is a gift. And you're an infinite soul, and you're an infinite soul that's having a finite experience that's called life. And that every moment you are here, you have the power to thrive and to choose whatever it is that you want to experience. And if you right now you're not having the experience that you prefer to have, then all you have to do is change your beliefs, change your emotions, and start to build yourself and to pick and choose who you be so that you can manifest the reality that really resonates with you. So for me, thrive is really a couple of things. So let me recap. In order to switch from being in victim and survivor mode, is to, first of all, to process all your emotions, whether they are traumatic or not, or any other baggages, especially fear. When we process all of that, you get to the point where you're no longer at the mercy of your emotions. You can start to choose and act rather than always in reaction mode. And when you get to choose what it is that you want to experience and you have a plan, then you can start to work and get to work and to challenge all the beliefs that is standing between you and your plan. When you manage to shake off all those beliefs that does not support you to have your plan, then you can actually experience what it is that you've planned for yourself. And you get to choose who you are, how you want to feel, and also to choose what kind of world you live in, because the world is really made up of everyone of us making the choices that we want to experience. That's what world really is a collection of us. When you choose to relate to your environment in a different way, you influence everybody around you. And I think the it seems the let me remember, it seems to be that one person that is really living large, really being who they want to be, and living life according to their own dreams, the biggest, the highest dream that they want to experience while they are here on earth. One person that is living at that level can affect 10,000 people that's around them. So it's actually just one person starting to flip that around from being in survivor or victim mode to being able to thrive in their own environment and knowing that they are connected to their environment and not separate from them. Only one person making that switch will be able to affect and inform and change the experience of 10,000 people and lift up the 10,000 people around them. So that's all I have to say in the talking part.